Shalom, y'all. I'm Servant RD, also known as Vermont. I'm coming to you with another video. And I'm doing this video because we at KOHIAH, as a matter of fact, shalom, all members of KOHIAH, shalom, shalom, shalom. As you members know, those of you at KOHIAH, you know that the last time we gathered been about 2-3 weeks ago. The next time will be 2 weeks from now. And so it was need for me to drop this video. And Sister Constance called, I called you Constance. Sister Constance called my wife and asked if we can gather. And I said, you know what, I'll drop a video. And I promised Sister Constance. So here it is. Now, I was sitting here at my desk and I was reading and I thought about my promise and I said, let me do this video. And so a thought dropped in my head, so this video won't be long at all. That's why you don't see the KOHIAH backdrop. I just wanted to put this together, and I want it to be short so it can upload on YouTube as quick as possible. I'm going to draw your attention to Ephesians the 6th chapter and the 10th verse. It reads on this wise: Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Master and in the power of His might. His might. Not yours, not your friends, not the government, not in your ability, to be, not in your connection, not in your association, but in His might. This is the challenge. Now, Paul was writing to the church or the assembly in Ephesus, and Ephesus was a very cosmopolitan city. It was a political, commercial, and religious center of that time. It had all types of activities. It was a harbor. It was a port where all type of commerce. And so you had temples. You had theaters. Just somewhat like Vegas or New York. There's a harbor in New York. And whenever you have ships that can bring in goods, then you will always have activity. And so people probably came from near and far to work in Ephesus. You remember the industrial age, how the cities were overcrowded. People, it was a surge from people from the country and rural areas. They flooded into the city. And so this is Ephesus. Thousands of tourists came through Ephesus. And they could get anything to their liking. They had temples with male and female prostitutes. You know, that's the oldest profession. The oldest profession, because people love to feel good. Yeah, I said it. You know, some of the older people, they didn't like when I said that. He just hated the fact that I mentioned that sex feels good. Somebody may be getting offended now. But that's just what's going on. That's why it's the oldest profession. People always gonna find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. You're gonna get that feeling. So what you have here, and Paul had to deal with that. Some people trust in that. That's their power. You understand? And so what you have here is Paul encouraging. He wanted to strengthen, because the assembly in Ephesus, they found themselves being penetrated or being influenced by the culture. The culture is something. And many people, wherever the culture goes and whatever direction it chooses to take, many people will follow it. And that's what was happening. And so there's no different today. And today you have people, they depend on just about everything. But Paul, he wanted them to understand. He said, put on the whole armor. You're talking about a warfare. You're talking about a struggle. You're talking about a fight. a contention. You put what you're going to put on armor for. You're just not going to put the stuff on and not do anything. Remember in the 90s where cats used to carry guns for fun, where in the 80s they started doing it, but in the 90s they actually started using it. But I remember different cats used to just have a gun just for fun. But then eventually they started using it. Well, Paul, he's telling the Ephesians to put on the armor. He's telling us. And then he said that you may be able to stand against the wiles, the trick, the cunning works of the devil. But we wrestle not against flesh and blood, comma, but against principalities, comma, against powers, comma, against rulers of the darkness of this world, comma, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's layers of opponents that you have to deal with. No wonder he said, be strong in the master, because you can't handle that. You dealing with a army. You're dealing with an army. You're dealing with a slew of opponents that is so organized that the individual in their own power cannot contend against. It will be subdued. And so what Paul was saying, he said, finally, brethren, when he say finally, he touched on a whole lot of stuff. He touched on how they came together and told them how the Father called them and how they were predestined. And so he did a lot of encouragement. My father, Bishop Arthur C. Coleman, the late Bishop Arthur C. Coleman, I once asked him, what was your favorite New Testament book? And he said Ephesians. He loved the book of Ephesians. He always preached out of Ephesians. And so what Paul wanted them to understand is that they had to be strong. They had to put their confidence. When they say be strong, you put your confidence in the master, not in yourself, not in the government. Definitely not the government, because we see what's happening in the government. The government is crumbling. Many people, they think Obama, he is going out the door. I still believe that he's the one after the 10, because the scripture talks about the one after the 10. And you got Trump coming in. Many people, they putting their hope, their confidence in Trump. Others got their confidence in Obama. And people are saddened. They look at Obama. I see on Facebook people posting all type of memories. We're in warfare. There are layers of opponents. You got to remember that. People have gotten distracted. This is why Paul is telling us, finally, brother, be strong in the master, not in your own ability. I'm getting excited because you ain't dealing with no chump devil. He's strategic with his operations. He's not just, ain't no chump, no pushover like you seen and how you witness in the schoolyard. You had some little punk that was in schoolyard. Everybody kicked him in the booty, pushing him in the head. Get on somewhere. Sucker punching them. You can't do that with this enemy. This is why Paul said, put on the whole armor, y'all. That's how you can be sufficient in your walk. And this is the meaning of being strong in the master. Because just like in Ephesus, they were dealing with all kinds of the temple of Diana. Paul, he took a beating when he spoke against the temple, when he spoke against some of the people that were associated with the people of the temple of Diana. And in this day, you have all types of issues going on. You all have all different type of temples. The temple of same-sex marriages. Yeah, you have all these different forms of these principalities that's been established. You can't fight against it. You got to put your trust and your confidence in the Father. Just one sister, she spoke against homosexuality and the whole world is going against it. What's going on? You're fighting against all type of principalities and powers. And so you cannot put your trust in anything but the Father. Even people, they talk about power. They look at the power. You got all type of power out there. But he say, be strong in the master and the power of his might, not the power of institutions. Many people, they look to their degrees, their status, but yet and still you find PhDs and masters, people that have attained those, flipping burgers or working in a job less than the credentials that they achieved. Why? Because this kingdom is being liquidated. It's being brought down. Can't you see? Brothers and sisters, I'm talking to you, KOHIAH, and all the supporters. Be strong in the power of his might. You understand what I'm saying? When you're strong in the power of his might, then you will have the sufficient backing that is needed to stand in this day. We are in the evil day. We are in the beginning stages of the evil day. And you need something beyond what this world can offer. Many people, they don't understand. They don't understand that you have to come to grips with what we're dealing with. I'm reminded when I was in Israel. The Father taught me a lesson when I was in Israel. We were actually in Palestine, and the fight broke out. And the way they fight in Palestine, the way the Palestinians fight, is totally different than the thugs that you see throwing, haymakers and jawbreakers. No, these cats were throwing bricks, not bricks, stones. Shards of glass was busting all over our heads. I saw a big stone just fly by my head. Bam, busting windows. It happened so fast. We were sitting there drinking our pomegranate juice, and all of a sudden a civil war broke out, and we were in the midst of it. And the Father taught me about his protection, because in the midst of that, with all that stuff going on, none of us, me and the brothers, none of us got hurt. Why? Because we was on one accord with the Father. And this is what Paul is trying to get people to see, because what's about to happen when they liquidate this system, and when all the people that trust in Trump and think that he's going to bring America back and make America great again, once they find out that that's an illusion and nothing but lies, they're going to lose their minds. And all types of spirit will be unleashed. And so what you have to understand, when you go back in the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter, Daniel talks about, he made the prophecy that Michael will stand up for the Father's people. Who are the Father's people? The ones that have chosen to be strong in his might, the one that chosen to put on the whole armor. Truth. Gird your loin with truth. Understand who you are. Being honest with who you are. And not trying to play a role or try to be something that you're not. I always seen people in the church growing up, they would always try to be someone or try to emulate something. They know they weren't that spiritual. Oh, I'm blessed of the Lord. Praise the Lord. And no, be true to yourself. This is how the Father can help you. Honesty. And guess what? When you are honest, just like I'm honest with you now, when I'm honest, and when you honest, and when you just allow yourself to permeate and allow the Father to deal with you, then that's when it can be beneficial to you and others. And so that's part of it. He talk about the whole armor. He talk about truth. He talk about righteousness. His righteousness, the Father's righteousness. The only way you can obtain the Father's righteousness is you have to align yourself up with him. How do you align yourself with him? Being obedient. Willing and obedient. Not just obedient, but willing. Happy to align yourself with the Father. But many people, they don't want to line up with the Father because that means they have to give something up. I know a lot of preachers that don't want to line up to this truth because they looking at their church and they say, oh, man, I'm going to lose. And so they want to hold on. That's a power that will fail. You're not being strong in the power of his might. You understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? I want to make this video short, but I want to let you know this is words of exhortation, and I want to exhort you, KOHIAH, to be strong in the power of the Father's might. Because when you and strong in that, when we were in Israel, when all that stuff was going on, we didn't have time to run. But guess what? Michael stood for us. The Malach King stood for us. The Father had a hand of protection over us. We ain't seen blood. We seen this one guy with this big pole hit this dude upside the head. The back of the head, he fell. There were ambulances all over the place, but none of us got hurt. The Father showed me right then, this is what it's like. When all hell break loose, you will be protected if you be strong in the power of my might. And so I want to let you know, in his might, not yours, not the government, not an institution, not in black power. You got everybody black power. You're talking about, empowerment in the conscious community. You have all these articulate speakers. They want to articulate the thoughts of the black consciousness back to Africa and all that kind of stuff. Brothers and sisters, there's no time for that. There's no power in that. It say be strong in the power of his might. So what you have to understand, brothers and sisters, you can't go and try to connect yourself to all these pseudo power sources that's out there. There's only one power source, and that's the Father power source. And you have to be connected to him. And this is what Paul is talking about when he's saying, be strong, be connected to the Father. And how you connected, you have to align yourself up with him. The helmet of salvation, understanding what the Father has done for you. And meditating on his word. That's salvation. Yeah, that's salvation. You obey his plan of salvation. But then after you obey, you have to continue to walk. You walk out this salvation every day. He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. Many people say I'm saved. No, you are saved if you keep in memory. You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? I'm all excited. I ain't gonna try to get all this excited. My goodness, man. Calm down. And so, feet shod with the preparation of peace. Y'all know the play. Y'all have heard this message preached many times before. And the gospel of peace. The gospel of peace. The good news of peace. And there's nothing like peace. You see all these people, they waiting for something. They have no peace. When Trump got elected, it was this guy coming in the next day dancing. On my job, happy days are here again. What's up with you? Dancing. Because they think he's going to make America great again. A false sense of security, no peace. And when the thing don't happen, they looking crazy. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to be this type of chaos. All of these layers of spirits that you have to deal with will be unleashed. And how you going to stand against that? You ain't standing, like I said, you ain't standing against no chump devil. I remember back in the day, this guy named Ricky Davis. Man, he was a schoolyard bully. And he used to tear us up. And one day we had to be strong and fight against it. But the Satan has wiles. My camera getting ready to go out. So what I want to just say, brothers and sisters, when you and the Father, even a pit bull can come after you. And he will be stopped in his tracks. Because nothing on earth can withstand against the power of the Father. So you have to be strong in his might. And he will take you through as we see this kingdom crumble. And it will crumble, I guarantee you. And it's going to be chaos throughout the land. But if you're strong in his might, you will stand. I'm your brother, Ramon. Shalom.